I went back and forth about whether I wanted to make this video. I hate online discussion based around Wes Anderson almost as much as Zack Snyder. Two of the most annoying groups of movie fans online are the Wes-obsessed fanboys and the Wes haters. One group swears up and down he is the second coming of Jesus, only makes the highest art and rides for every movie until death. On the flip side, there's a group who thinks his movies lack any sense of artistic credibility, find the idea that he would have a different style of filmmaking insulting. I sit in the middle. I quite like Fantastic Mr. Fox and Rushmore, but I don't think Asteroid City or the Royal Tenenbaums are that good of movies. But the Pontiac Scheme is the first feature-length Wes movie I have seen that is downright bad. On top of that, I'm a little stunned at the reaction this movie has received. I think if you were to strip away the Wes Anderson mythos and give this to any other director, it would fall flat. Take away the symmetry or quirk, and you are left with a toothless, dreadfully boring movie. Since the Anderson-isms can't carry a movie to enjoyment, I'm left disappointed. My first major problem with this movie is the performances and line deliveries. I hate the way this movie is acted. There isn't one particular actor that stands out as bad because they all suck. None of these characters feel real or complete. It feels as if the characters themselves are giving a performance. They all act slightly askew from how a character should, because you have to be a little weird in a Wes movie, resulting in every character feeling the same, almost as if the characters are aware they are in a movie, and they are acting to the audience in a way that most characters shouldn't be. We have seen it all before too. This acting style has been done in every other Wes Anderson movie. All of them. I'm getting tired of seeing it. I see pieces of these characters from some of the characters in Rushmore all the way up to Asteroid City. The performances are nothing new or fresh at this point. They're just the same old recycled stuff Wes has been doing for decades, and I'm getting kinda tired of it. I hated The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. The movie is just unreal bad. It's kind of amazing how he could win an Oscar for such a bad movie. The Phoenician Scheme reinforced a realization that I had from that movie. Every character in a Wes Anderson movie speaks like they are narrating a kid's book. They don't talk like people or characters, but instead they are talking like they are reading books to a class of kindergartners. I find it exhausting to watch. It all feels a little dumbed down. I often find myself disengaging from most narration in movies. So when every single line is delivered that way, it just leaves me a little unattached from the whole project. I'm kinda tired of seeing people compliment Michel Cerra on his so-called amazing performance in this movie, because it kinda sucks. Him and Wes Anderson feed into each other's worst habits. The focus on zaniness being slightly off normal, rather than actual character building and meaningful acting. The actors are aware they are in an Anderson movie, so they act how they think they are supposed to, the way Anderson is known for. But there's no real reason to give this detached, odd style of acting in every movie. It doesn't serve the story of an individual movie and creates this mythos that needs to be upheld. As someone who doesn't buy into that mythos, it kinda leaves me behind. This all results in zero attachment to the characters. I don't care about a single character in this movie. The performances being detached from reality and each other is not a good formula for any movie, let alone a family drama that relies on emotional attachment to the characters like the Phoenician Scheme does. The Anderson style of directing is at odds with the story this movie is trying to tell. If you want your quirky dystopian feeling, you should choose a script that complements that style of filmmaking rather than one that goes directly against it. Wes Anderson's filmmaking style does not lend itself to a family drama. Now onto the story. I had zero clue what was going on. The scheme is utterly meaningless. It's not a great sign when a viewer is unable to tell what the titular scheme is. Numbers would pop up, but it was never properly addressed or explained. The scheme was just an excuse to get these characters to travel around the world and meet all kinds of meaningless side characters. Each of the side characters our three main characters meet are devoid of any distinct personality other than Wes Anderson's side characters. Tom Hanks' character is the same person as Benedict Cumberbatch's. The only difference are the actors themselves. People are complacent, pointing and recognizing an actor. Even if the sixth side character has no differences than the first five, it's a face you know, and so you recognize it as a different person. The characters don't need to be different. They are all pointless anyway. The movie does have a couple of emotional moments that work fairly well, but nothing that really ever gets me into it that deep. It's just very surface level feelings and attachment to these more emotional moments. I don't want this to be a video hating on Wes Anderson. I respect most of his filmography, even if I'm not the biggest fan ever. He has a distinct style of filmmaking, but he needs to learn how to wield it. It seems with every movie that he leans further and further into his bag of gimmicks, and abandons principal filmmaking. He's making movies for his cult of followers. If you buy into the silly bullshit, artificial framing, and distinct unrealistic acting, you'd enjoy this. But as someone who isn't heads over heels for this horse crap, I find the movie bad. All the power to him. But I hate having to say this is an awful movie because his fan base and him is a little unbearable. He's allowed to make his style of movie and alienate everyone who isn't bought into the style, and I'm also allowed to dislike this movie. I just can't buy into this. I fail to see how you can enjoy this movie. If you want a quirky Wes Anderson movie, there are way better ones to choose. Thanks for watching. It would be great if you could like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'm working on a big video covering my Criterion challenge from Letterboxd right now, but for the time you'll be getting daily shorts and a few more little videos like this.